Well, you know I got a good one for you today. So I'm broadcasting out of China. Can you tell everything's different? No? Well, let me set the stage for you. I'm gonna go ahead and start things off just right by cussing. And remember, I'm in China. Fuck! So there's a big rumor going around that massive amount of games, specifically MMORPGs and online-based games, have been banned in China by the Chinese government. You might be asking yourself why? What in the world? Wouldn't they have already banned these games? Why would they even let their people play the games if they crack down so much on censorship? Well, I'll get to that. Only recently, China has permitted video games to be played by their people in an effort to allow this type of marketplace into their country. It's not like these individuals can still afford the things, especially those in lower poverty, the ones who work a factory and are not paid quite a lot of money. You still need to pay for the video game console to actually play the game. But the thing about it is that they have a lot of PCs over there, and so a lot of free-to-play games seem to be the way of China. A lot of people like to play free-to-play games like Fortnite, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, and other free-to-play games like League of Legends. Things that are just, generally speaking, easily accessed and playable by them within their country. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of job opportunities over there. You're basically told what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, and if you're lucky enough to be able to choose what you're going to do, it doesn't guarantee you being rich. This is why a lot of these games succeed in that country. Now, what's ended up happening is that there's this big rumor going around that a lot of these games have been banned. There's actually an update to this to confirm that it's more of a real story than actually a rumor. But over on Reddit, there's a thread talking about this, and it discusses and discloses what has been banned, why, and the corrective actions needed to reinstate these games. So I'm going to go ahead and list off some of the more popular ones and a couple other ones, but there are quite a lot of games on this list. You'll be pretty shocked at the reasons why they're banned, but probably not surprised at some of the other ones. So let's get to it. Ladies and gentlemen, League of Legends was banned and told that they needed corrective action due to overly revealing female characters. Now that's just number one. Tons of these games frock for over-revealing female characters. It's not really a surprise. The Chinese government doesn't exactly like that portrayal. Some people went on to note that Overwatch is permitted over there in China, and they had no problem with that for quite some time, even though they did have some over-revealing characters like Widowmaker and certain costumes that could reveal women a little bit more. What's the standard for over-revealing? Good question. I'm sure it's a case-by-case scenario, but it does seem that these individuals are actually looking at and playing the games before they rate them. Now, the thing about it is, I feel like the Chinese government permit Overwatch to be played and was being played for quite some time because they have the Overwatch League, so they can expound and show how great the Chinese country is and how great the Chinese government is and how their people are so much better than everyone else. Makes a lot of sense, right? You want to definitely proclaim the greatness of communism, or whatever you would like to call the government currently. I'm sure a lot of people would say, oh, it's not really communist, but I mean, their country's pretty locked down. The other thing that was cited was that rewards given based on rank are not permitted, and that was for League of Legends again. Now this is where the whole communist discussion I was having was coming in. That sounds a lot like capitalism, and we can't have no capitalism in our communist government. It's pretty obvious they just don't want people getting the idea that capitalism is pretty cool. Not really sure how you would get that from a video game, especially League of Legends of all things, but hey, whatever, they want it corrected. And then the final thing that came up was inharmonious chat room. Now, I've heard this before too, and I thought it was pretty silly myself, but inharmonious, and it really does say inharmonious, not unharmonious, not unharmonious, non-harmonious, but inharmonious. So I guess basically, unless you're all walking, talking, and discussing the same great thing, they don't want it in the game. Hey, guys, are you talking about how great communism is? Don't forget how great communism is. I mean, it worked for Russia.
That was a low blow, Proto. You know that there was more involved in Russia than China.
And Cuba. Overwatch is the next big game that popped up on this list, and the game visuals promote incorrect values. What are the correct values that would be game visuals? Because they don't cite overly revealing female characters, which a lot of these other games cite. So that's the wording they would use. They would say, it's not the visuals, it's the overly revealing female characters. But it says the visuals promote the incorrect values. I'm not making this up. What are incorrect values? What values does Overwatch promote that are incorrect with the visuals? Inharmonious chat. So, Overwatch is toxic watch, we all know that. Moving right along, we have Diablo with inharmonious chat. Duh, you can chat in Diablo. But I found Diablo to be a lot less toxic than these esports games. The other thing that Diablo has popped up for was game missions include fraud. Fraud. Now, you might be saying to yourself, what in the world do you mean? Well, I guess that would be one of the values that China does not want to encourage. They don't want to encourage people stealing. There's an early mission in Diablo where you will meet an individual who will accompany you on your quest throughout the entire game, but on one of his quests, he's pretty much talking about how he's a thief, he steals stuff, this is a big deal to him. That's probably what they're referencing. It's pretty early in the game, so it's a no-brainer as to why this popped up. It's funny because there's tons of religious references in the game. China has no problem with that. And there is a lot of blood and gore in Diablo. A lot. But see, the thing is, you might be saying to yourself, well, that didn't pop up, right? No, it did. On a lot of these other games, there's a lot of blood and gore that popped up, and that's the reason that they are banned, prohibited, and need to be withdrawn. Like, there's a massive list of prohibited, banned, withdrawn. Big games like PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, Fortnite, H1Z1, just tons of games completely prohibited and told they need to get out, they're done, they're not permitted here anymore. And that's for blood and gore, a lot of them are, yes. And Diablo does not pop up for blood and gore, which makes me think that this might have just been a rumor. But I'll get to that shortly. The other two big games that kind of popped up and weird things that popped up with them was World of Warcraft, and that's overly revealing female characters in harmonious chat. Again, World of Warcraft, big MMORPG, basically say and talk about whatever you want. They're probably just going to say, hey, you remove the chat room, you can have the game, but you do need to correct those female representations for whatever reason. Again, so censorship, they don't want females to be over-sexualized or, you know, revealing, I guess. There you go. But the funniest thing was Westward Journey. Over-revealing female characters in harmonious chat room. But here's the big one, the strange one. Distorted concepts of history and culture. I mean, it's China. If you forgot what country we're talking about, you just got reminded, didn't you? Can't be distorting that historic culture or anything. I mean, good lord, China's about on the edge of how ridiculous North Korea is. I'm just waiting for the day China comes out and says that they blew up the White House.
백악관이 장거리 미사일의 저진경에 잡 전쟁의 아성이 원자탄의 타격군에 들었다.
Anyways, point is, ladies and gentlemen, all these games have popped up on a list of not allowed, prohibited, withdraw, or they need corrected. If you guys remember, I just covered a story about Rainbow Six Siege where the game itself had to be censored for a worldwide release. This would lend to what I'm talking about right now, as it seems to fall under the same exact banner. Corrective actions needed to be done in order for that game to continuously be permitted to be played in different countries. Now, I was interested in those specific countries, but it seems we all know now Rainbow Six Siege did not pop up on this list at all. Now, I did say I'm going to tell you how this might not actually be a rumor and actually just be true. There was an update to this story itself, and it seems that Blizzard was reached out to, but they gave no reply, they ignored it. Now, some people have stated that there was officially on China's social site, Weibo or Weibo, I'm sorry, I can't say the name very well, I'm very bad at pronunciations, but there was a post there that would deny all of this, but then it was deleted afterwards. So again, very strange. People in China are reporting that they're still able to play PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds and Fortnite. So still very, very early in the situation. I'm sure that there's going to be another update to this story that's going to come out and clarify all of these points. I hope that the censorship doesn't deter Chinese gamers, because that's a massive market. And these developers, they're likely going to censor their game for the Chinese government just so that they can get that sweet, sweet cheddar. I find it interestingly ironic that even though the Chinese collectively, widely, from all the production, all the workers that they have, they aren't the richest country in the world, without question, and yet developers are pushing so hard to get their games into that market. I mean, I guess it's just free money. It's a free-to-play game. It's digital only, so of course they would push it there. They're not losing any money. They don't have to push physical sales and find shipping routes and figure out the logistics. They only have to censor a few things, and boom, they got a whole nother market open to them. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys enjoyed the story. If you did, and you're really, really against censorship, make sure to like and share it and let other people know what's happening in China. You go ahead and click that subscribe button. Let me know that you're with me on the road to 1 million subscribers, and I'll be with you there the whole way. Come back here every day for a new video. I mean, it's almost guaranteed that you'll get some more entertainment. And hey, guess what? Just like those free-to-play games, it's free here! So you just got your money back if you didn't like it. Anyways, I've been your host, Protomario. I'm signing out. Good gaming, God bless, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Now I'm off to once again be censored and banned for saying something naughty.